Slamdown is sponsored by Body Slam and Jam and WWE Smack Talk. Welcome to another episode of Slamdown Livestream. As you can see by the title below, we're going to be covering everything Raw. Before I start digging into Raw and start picking it apart and giving you the good things and the bad things, I just want to make a quick let everybody make aware that either this week or next week I will be appearing on the podcast of Attitude of Aggression. Depending on what week I go on. If it's on the second week, then I'll be on there talking about Elimination Chamber. But part of the deal is, well, after I've been on there, they'll come over and come on Slamdown. So, you know. And also I like working with other podcasts as well. And, you know, people with different ideas, different opinions. It makes everything better. So, for people that doesn't know, Seth Rollins is injured. He was injured by Samoa Joe, but it wasn't Samoa Joe's fault. It's not like what happened to Tyson Kidd. It was the way Seth Rollins went down and injured his leg. But luckily, it's not as bad as last time. So hopefully, he will only be out for a week. Sorry, for 8 weeks instead of 6 months. So I think he might still make WrestleMania. I'm not going to say it's a definite. I'm not going to say it's a guarantee because you never know you can never know what can happen. But fingers crossed, he should make WrestleMania, and we should see Triple H versus Seth Rollins. But let's get into sort of diagramming and digging into Raw. Starting off with Raw, we had Roman Reigns confront Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe was doing his contract signing, officially signing to Raw. But there's a couple of things I noticed from this, the way they've done this. You know, if you look at the way Mick Foley and Stephanie have been getting on recently, they've been disagreeing a lot. You know, Mick wasn't too happy about signing Samoa Joe. With the way it's been done and everything else. And you can see the conflict between the two, which makes me believe that I think Mick Foley is not going to be Raw GM for very long. I've got a feeling that they're going to drop him, and I don't want to say I know who his replacement is because I don't know 100%, but looking with what they've done recently with signing Ric Flair to a full-term contract, I believe Ric Flair might be the new Raw general manager. It's the only thing that makes sense to me because there hasn't been anybody else they've signed. They haven't brought any other legends in, so I can actually see that be a big possibility. Another possibility I can see with Charlotte Flair defending her title at WrestleMania, I can actually see them bringing Lita in for it. You know, there's a lot of rumours flying around, but I can see that a big possibility. But my problem is with that is you've got Diva. I can't. Sorry, bad habit. You've got women on that Raw star that deserve to have that WrestleMania match with Charlotte. So, everybody knows I'm not great with part-timers getting big pushes. And I will be talking about part-timers in this show because there's a few bits of Raw where it's pushing part-timers again, and it's like, again. But yeah, we saw, Steph and Foley not really get on over the signing of Samoa Joe. Then we saw Roman Reigns come down confronting Joe, and I've got to admit, the promo weren't bad by Roman Reigns. It really wasn't. I was expecting, here comes Roman, here we go. What's he going to say now? Is he going to say, I'm not the bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy, this is my No. The way they done it was good. It was believable. It does feel like they're using a bit of Undertaker element with him, where taking him going, this is my yard. But, yeah. For Roman Reigns, it was quite good. One thing that I've seen online, and I actually believe it would be better for Roman Reigns if they actually did make him heel, but not just make him heel, make Paul Heyman his mouthpiece. I think that would probably be the better way with Roman Reigns, but anyway. As Roman Reigns came out, it didn't click straight away, but I just started to realise later through the show that Samoa Joe is looking like the main event. Mafia Samoa Joe. It's like, you rarely see Joe in a suit. I think the only time I've actually seen him in a suit was actually with Main Event Mafia the second time round. It's like, what are you doing? I don't know if I'm too happy with Joe being the corporate guy. I like Samoa Joe where he's just that pure heel that just wants to take guys out and not answer to anybody. But we'll have to see how he develops on Raw and what they're going to do with him. But with a conversation between them two, Mick Foley announced that at the main event it was going to be Joe versus Reigns. If Vince McMahon's got his hands all over it, it'd be Reigns for the win. That's what I thought when I saw this. I thought they're going to bury Joe on this one. After that, we had Nia Jax and Bayley. I really don't know why they've put this on them two again. But yeah, Nia Jax got the victory. Predictable. Charlotte Flair stood above Bayley. It's probably a 2-star match. Again, it's getting a bit boring. We saw Braun Strowman taking on 4 local competitors. What a surprise. You're going to stick more randoms against him. See, I think they were better off using Mark Henry against him, Big Show against him. If you're going to push him as this big athlete, put the bigger guys against him. Let him take down the bigger guys. Let him be more believable as he is the tough guy. Because at the minute, it just feels to me he only beats jobbers. After that, we saw a new signing to the 205 Live. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the Japanese lad's name. He was in the Cruiserweight Classics. He has got a good ability. The match was kind of quick. Actually, I didn't rate the Braun Strowman match. 1.5 stars. There we go. It was a good match, actually, for the Cruiserweights, and I can't really knock it, so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. I can't wait to see what else this guy can do, and what else he's got in the bag. After that, we saw Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens in the ring, talking about themselves. Typical brotherly promos. I have said a lot that I don't like the partnership between these two. I really don't. I think it makes Kevin Owens look weak. But they were interrupted by Bill Goldberg, who threatened them. Stay to the side. So they stayed to the side. They were quiet. It's basically set to accept Brock Lesnar challenge. So he accepts the challenge. And then Chris Jericho says something. And then it ends up with Chris Jericho saying he's going to put Goldberg on the list. Goldberg snatched the list out of Jericho's hands and writes his home name on it. And Jericho ends up going, do you know what you want, Owens? At Fastlane, you've got it. And Kevin Owens just standing there in shock that Chris Jericho has just accepted Goldberg's challenge. So, with the way they've done this, it's obviously at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg for the Universal title. It's too predictable. It's really, really too predictable. I really hate the current state of the WWE. I really do. After that, we had Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson taking on Cesaro Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Champions. Same match again. But this time there was Enzo and Big Kaz at ringside watching the match, which ended up in disqualification because Luke Gallows hit the big boot on Enzo, and then Big Kaz booted him back. 2 stars. We saw the New Day taking on the Shining Stars, the Joke Act. As you know, New Day get the win. You know, anybody could have predicted that. 1.5 stars. We saw Chris Jericho taking on Sami Zayn. And again, Kevin Owens interferes. It's going to be 2 out of 5 star match. It's just, I'm getting sick of the Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho thing. We saw Austin Aries interviewing Neville, and then it ended up with everybody coming out. Jack Gallagher, Alexander, TJ Perkins, Noam Dar, Tony Nese. And it broke out into brawl and then ended up into a 3-on-3 match with Jack Gallagher, God's sake, Cedric Alexander and TJ Perkins taking on Neville, Noam Dar, Tony Nese. Actually, it was a good, solid match. It was a lot better from the cruiserweights. We saw Neville jump down from the apron and walk away from the match. And at the end of the match, we saw Cedric beating Noam Dar and getting the pin. It was a good match. I was actually surprised how good it was for a cruiserweight match. It was brilliant. After that, we saw Samoa Joe taking on Roman Reigns. Now, I still believe that Samoa Joe should be on SmackDown. I want Samoa Joe AJ Styles. I don't care what anybody says. But they've stuck him on Raw, so, let's see what they do with it. At the start off with, we saw Samoa Joe really take it to Roman. And near the end of the match, Roman Reigns managed to hit a Superman punch a couple of times on Samoa Joe, knocking him wobbly, and then knocking him down. As he was knocked down, Roman Reigns was getting ready to go for the spear. Braun Strowman showed up. So obviously at Fastlane they're going to do Roman Reigns against Braun Strowman. That was probably... Because of Joe, I want to give it 3.5, because Joe really was brutal on that match. There's still quite a lot of unanswered questions for me. It's like, right, he told The Undertaker it's my yard. We haven't seen anything happen between The Undertaker, Big Show and Braun Strowman. That's been left unanswered. It's like so many gaps in the stories they're telling us at the minute. I'm really not liking the WWE at the minute. They've got an amazing Raw star, but it just seems they don't know what they're doing. Raw is better this time round than it has been, but I think there's only a few shining stars in it. I don't think it's the whole show. The Cruiserweight Classics were a little bit better. The Samoa Joe thing made it a bit better, but it's not great, but it wasn't bad. It's the best way I can review that show. I do want to watch Raw again. I want to know what Samoa Joe's going to do next. That's the thing with me. I really want to see what he's going to do next. I know it's already been announced that SmackDown will have Randy Orton versus John Cena. And if they're having that match on SmackDown, it's making me believe even more Bray Wyatt's going to win the Elimination Chamber, be new champion, and take on Randy Orton at WrestleMania. With the way they're doing things, that's how it's going to be. Don't think it's going to be John Cena, Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton at WrestleMania, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And, yeah. I think that's the way it's going, and I don't think there's anything we can do about it. You know, I just hope that part-timers don't get the push, because that annoys the crap out of me. Really, really annoys the crap out of me. You know, why should part-timers get the push? But that's my opinion anyway. I can't think there's anything else I really want to cover, really, about Raw. I more look forward to SmackDown, but yeah. So yeah, big thanks to everybody who's watching. We're on again tomorrow covering SmackDown review. On Monday it'll be a double show. I'll be doing my TNA review, and then after TNA review I will be doing the Elimination Chamber review. And I will also be doing hopefully doing the Elimination Chamber review, or talking about it on Attitudes of Aggression. I will keep you updated by Twitter by that. I'm amazed how many Twitters we have got on following us now. But we need to get the likes up on Facebook. So please share this video, like the page, let's get these numbers up. You know, because one thing I do love is when I'm live and I'm doing this live, I love to hear your feedback. I love to hear from you. You know, this show is for the fans, made for the fans. That's been my whole motto in doing this show, and I am going to be sticking with it. So, big thanks to everybody listening, and I will see you again tomorrow. This has been your host, Ashley Friend.